What's up, everyone? This is Dale from Upstate Bets and DFS. I'm here with my partner Reoz, bringing you guys this nine-game slate here on PrizePicks. So we're back on PrizePicks as usual. So yesterday, a little five-game slate, not too bad. We had some big blowouts on that slate, unfortunately. So if you faded that Warriors game on Steph and Clay and all those guys, Wiggins ended up hitting for us. And then, like I said, at the bottom, we kind of faded that game, that Nuggets game and Blazers game at the bottom too. So I mean, I don't know, just a tough game to watch all around for those games. And we had that Reoz called that game against Minnesota and the Grizzlies being the tightest one on the slate. So I mean, not bad day overall, but we're ready to hit this nine gamer pretty hard. If you never played Prize Picks before, very simple way to play. You can just take player props, over unders on them. So Jason Tatum here is at 23.5 points. You can take the over under on him. You can string him together with four, five, two players even if you wanted to, and you can like five extra money, 10 extra money. So fun way to play. They got like esports, college sports. Right now they got Rocket League, CS:GO, stuff like that, League of Legends. So I don't know, cool ways to play. You can mix and match different sports. You can take someone in the wild card weekend. Like Joe Burrow got a discount for like a couple hours yesterday. He just got a passing yards discount. If you wanted to take someone like say Mac Jones here, 189.5, you could even pair him up with Tatum tonight. So I mean, you can go for string together 2 different days for like two different players. I mean, really cool. You can sign up using promo code Upstate. That'll give you a 100% deposit match on your first deposit up to $100. So if you deposit 100, you get 100 back to play with. So fun way to play. I mean, we've been playing it a lot lately. The channel's been growing significantly. It's pretty much what we built this channel around now. So thank you guys who've supported us throughout this journey. We're about to hit 1,500 subs. So thank you guys for that. It's really been awesome. So we do offer some premium content over on Patreon as well. Riaz, why don't you tell them about that?
Yeah, we had a great bounce back night after our awful Taco Tuesday. We went 4-2 last night. Just a bunch of winners, a bunch of write ups we do over there, especially with NFL playoffs ramping up starting tomorrow. So a lot of stuff going on there. It's a great place to join, a great community. We have the Patreon only Discord. Just a lot of knowledge. I mean, it's a great place to start if you don't have enough time in your day to do research. We do all the research for you. So I definitely recommend checking it out. It's at patreon.com/upstate, and it'll also be in the description below.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, Riaz, it's been great. Riaz has been crushing it over there in his NBA picks. I've been doing well on NFL, so we're gonna just continue to keep smashing. The both of us are making a really good team, and we're gonna continue to just keep like crushing out content for you guys. So, thank you guys for hopping in. We go category by category here. We're gonna start in the points category, and I mean, if you haven't noticed yet, we put out the face cams. Obviously, my face cam's been looking a little bit glitchy lately, so I gotta get that figured out. So if it just kind of glitches out a little bit, don't mind that. I'll get that all cleared up. But Riaz over there, he's just kind of in the skies on his face cam. So no, regardless, man, we got points category. Tatum and Embiid at the top. We know how good Embiid's been playing. He's like 90% in the last 10 games on that prop. But literally 30, like cannot get anything but 31 points in the last 5 games. Actually ridiculous. Do you think this trend's going to continue?
I mean, it's definitely a great game for him. I mean, he's definitely got a tough matchup down low between Al and Robert Williams. So I could honestly see this trend kind of stopping tonight. But the guys right next to him in Tatum and Brown, this is probably the lowest line we've seen for them. Since Brown's been healthy, they're both at 23.5. And honestly, Jalen Brown's been playing phenomenal. 31 against the Pacers a couple nights ago. I have no problem going back to him, and even Jason Tatum coming off. I mean, he had 33 as well, but he's only three out of the last five. So definitely great plays here, just in general in this game. I think a lot of these lines are lower just because this game is just going to be so great. We know these two teams have a lot of history through the playoffs and everything like that. So this is definitely a game I want to take a look at.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't feel comfortable taking an under on Embiid. I would just fade it realistically. I mean, we all know hot streaks have to end. At some point. I mean, we got burnt on Halliburton the night he decided to end his hot streak. I don't want to get burnt with Joel Embiid here. I mean, we know the history about him and Al Horford, how he's always gave Embiid really big problems, especially back in the playoffs in previous years. So I don't think it's a good matchup for Embiid. I really don't. I think the two stars for Boston can really get going tonight, like Reoz said. And then scrolling down a little bit, I mean, I like Ayton in this matchup. He's at 14.5. He's actually one of the guys on the season that have one of the best rates at this prop. I mean, he's like 67% on the season here at 14.5 points. I know he's missed some time, but realistically, I think this spot looks awesome for Ayton.
Yeah, I mean when you can get his line at 14 and a half, 14, even if it drops down a little bit lower than that, it's just way better than him at 16, 17, where we saw when Devin Booker was out. I mean, the volume of shots is definitely there for him, and we know Miles Turner loves to just foul everybody and always be in foul trouble. And DeAndre Ayton, as a big man, is really not that bad at the foul line. So I think this game is going to be pretty good. And at 14 and a half, it's definitely one where I have no problem taking.
Yeah, me either. I mean, on the Patreon, I went to Van Fleet, 3 nights ago against Phoenix. I knew it was a little bit tougher of a matchup, but I just liked how Van Fleet's been smashing lately. I mean, he was coming off a game where he hit like 7 3-pointers. Just kind of just didn't get us there. I mean, he went into the fourth quarter with like 20 points. We really thought that he had a really good chance, but like I always say, like I'd rather get burnt by someone who's taking the volume of shots but just has a bad night rather than just like going to someone who I hope plays like, you know, who I hope gets extended run or who I'm hoping the game goes into overtime for. So I just want to give you guys that kind of information. Look for people who are just who is going to get the volume. And Van Fleet's a guy been getting a lot of run, a lot of volume. This is obviously a way better matchup than the Phoenix Suns. So I wouldn't be too scared going back to him tonight either.
Yeah, I mean this Detroit, Toronto, and Orlando and Charlotte. I mean, these are two games that I'm kind of thinking about fading. Just the fact that there's a big blowout possibility in both these games, but for some reason, I really like Lamelo Ball under. Just on the fact his hit rate has been awful in the last 5 games. One out of 5 is just not great. And when you just really look at this team, not everybody here is going to score 20 points. So you kind of have to think, is Rozier going to be the one that pops off? We saw Gordon Hayward just have an unbelievable game, scoring 30 points against Philly. So I really like this LaMelo Ball under 19 and a half. He really hasn't scored 20 points um, that frequent this year. So I know that 23 against Milwaukee was really good, but there's a blowout factor here where Orlando just can't keep this game close. So LaMelo Ball could have um, a short amount of minutes here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's really not often we see all four of these guys have like a monster game. I mean, LaMelo at 19 and a half, it does seem a little high. I like him in some other props. We'll get to those later in the video. But I agree with you, man. It's tough for me to always go under. I like taking overs, but I completely agree with your analysis there on the Melo Ball tonight. And then, I mean, between the three guys, I mean, between Bridges, Rozier, and Hayward, I mean, I like Rozier threes for sure. But in terms of, the scoring category, his floor is very low. I mean, he can go out there and just give you 7. So be aware of that. Cole Anthony is my guy too. I always take Cole Anthony props. 4 of the last 5 he sweated against. He didn't against there against Washington, and I believe he was at 20 and a half against Detroit as well. It says obviously he hit this line at if it was at 18 and a half against Washington. But we played him over on the Patreon. In fantasy score he got us there, but in points he wasn't hitting that night. So I don't know. I think other than that, I mean, there's some lower guys here. I was really hoping we get a good Darius Garland discount. I mean, 3 bad games in a row, drops down to a point. I mean, I wish we could get like 17 and a half, but I don't mind it. Garland's not going to struggle like this forever. He's just in a little bit of a slump. I mean, I like Garland's game a lot, and I like this Cavs team. So, anyone else down here interest you? I mean, I know we were talking about Wiggins a little bit, so I don't know who you like here.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem going back to Desmond Bain at 16 and a half. We just saw a great performance out of him last night, scoring 21 against the Timberwolves. So he's just been really hot this year, especially against this Dallas team who does allow a bunch of points. I have no problem going back to him. We could even see Ja just kind of get a little breather. He's been playing a bunch of games now, coming back from that ankle injury. So definitely one to look at.
Yeah, no doubt. And Luca there, he had the taco. Literally almost didn't get us there on that taco, which I can't believe we were sweating another taco. Jaren Jackson Jr. had a really good game, 20 points. He was hitting deep threes. stuff like that too. I think he had a good game, and I think this is a better matchup for him. So Triple J, especially if Ja gets limited run here, I don't think he's going to get limited run, but if he plays like 30, 32 minutes, he did struggle really early, got into foul trouble like 10 minutes into the game. In that game against Minnesota last night. So I don't know. There's a lot of guys here in the points category. But for me, this the Chicago Golden State game, we saw what happened last night, and now tonight they're resting Clay on a back to back. The Bucks just completely stomped the Warriors. I mean, we see the impact that Draymond really has on this team. And that's what I'm saying. I'd rather go to Wiggins tonight. Just I think he's the safest really out of the bunch. Really, I mean, DeMar gets a decent discount, but I think PrizePicks is kind of assuming that maybe Chicago has their way with the Warriors tonight. But we never really know. So let's go over to rebounds, man. Who do you like here?
Yeah, there's a couple guys that I like over here on the rebounds. I was on Horford 2 nights ago. He fell short. He only had 4 boards against the Pacers, but at 5.5, we definitely saw his minutes definitely increase with Robert Williams being in foul trouble. The big problem for me here is we never know if who's going to play that 30 minutes. If it's going to be Al, if it's going to be Robert Williams. I have no problem with either two. They both have an unbelievable hit rate at these lines so far this year, and if you can get Al at 5.5 or Robert Williams at 8.5, I have no problem going to either one of them in this matchup.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Williams seems like the guy that's been getting like kind of majority of the run, but realistically, like I said, Horford gives Embiid a lot of issues. So like I think Horford could be out there with as hot as Embiid's been. Horford kind of knows his game and he can really hold him to his own. I mean, it's tough to hold Embiid to really anything under 25 points, but realistically, Horford's the guy that can do it, and we've seen him do it before. Cole Anthony's another guy, dude. Tremendous rebounding guard. Back-to-back games against Washington. He had 11 against Washington last time, and that's with Washington getting back Montrezl Harrell. And Kuzma's been rebounding the ball well, but his last 5 don't look great. But we've seen him smash in the rebound category before. Isaiah Stewart, I mean, he's been decently consistent, but will never really smash that line. I know Reoz, you went to him on one of the nights that he had a really good game, and then out of nowhere he just comes and he comes and gets like 20 minutes and runs. So tough to go to a guy like that again. But anyone else here really? I mean, we see Jared Allen go up another half rebound after a bad game against Utah. So who do you like?
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards Vucevic here at 10.5 against Golden State. Uh, we definitely know that there's a big problem down low for this Golden State team. Bobby Portis had an unbelievable game. We know Giannis had just a monster triple double last night. So uh, Looney is he's not the answer down low. They're definitely waiting for um, Wiseman to come back and kind of fill that spot for the in the center spot. So Vucevic at 10.5, I think it's an unbelievable line. I can definitely see upwards to 15 boards from him tonight. And as of late, he's struggled. So I kind of like a nice bounce back game here against Golden State.
Yeah, no doubt. I think we were on Vucevic again going against Brooklyn, struggled there. But Brooklyn just had their way against Chicago in the second half. But yeah, I like Vucevic there in that spot too, especially after seeing what Giannis and Portis did to that team. Over in the assist category, a couple guys have like really good hit rates here. Tobias Harris, 5 out of the last 5. Never known as much of a playmaker, but if he's going to continue on that trend, I don't think he's that bad at 3.5 assists. Karis LeVert too, 3.5 assists on a downward trend, which is tough to see. But I think the matchup is decent. I mean, I know Phoenix is tough, but I think it'd be tough to score on them. Rather, I think Levert is still in a decent matchup here to rack up some assists. So, other than that, who do you like here? I know guys got Lamelo, Lonzo Ball here has been playing really well. So, anyone you like?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely hard to fade Cole Anthony at 6 assists. I mean, pushed against Detroit, yeah, 3 out of the last 4 without counting the push. Um, we know Mo Bamba's out or questionable right now. We know no Wendell Carter, so I kind of like his rebounds a little bit more. But at 6, it's tough to fade him. I mean, there's a bunch of guys that fill in for Mo Bamba and uh, Wendell Carter Jr. and he's just an unbelievable playmaker. He's really the heart and soul of this team. So at 6, I really don't mind it. It's kind of a nice line considering all the people that are out for this team.
Yeah, and Lamelo right next to him. at 7.5. I think he looks good. Next to Cole Anthony here. We know the ceiling, and I like the matchup against Orlando. I liked him in rebounds too. Actually, he was at 6.5. I think he looks good in both categories. Especially if Reoz predicting him to struggle in the points category. I think he can have a big game in some other spots. Got absolutely torched on DeMar DeRozan against Brooklyn too. I mean, 1 assist. Um, it's just tough to see. It really is. He was playing so well. Being the playmaker. I mean, he's not really the primary playmaker, but he was getting people involved, which was nice to see. I still think he looks good tonight. I mean, they are playing the Warriors, but um, I don't know. I think that he still looks good. I wouldn't be scared. I wouldn't really be scared to go back to DeMar here. So, is that it for you in assists, or you want to hop to 3 pointers made?
Yeah, we can hop the 3 pointers made.
Yeah. So 12 guys here. I think a couple guys look pretty good. I mean, Cole Anthony was a guy I was on early. He's looking pretty good lately. I mean, he's pushed two games against Washington. Now I like the matchup against Charlotte as well, so he looks good. I talked about Rozier early on at 3, and tough game against Philly. Here he comes against Orlando. I think this spot looks good for him as well too. So who do you like here?
Yeah, really the only guy I really like here is Devin Booker. We really haven't seen his line at 2 for a while now. Couple 3 games now where he's made 3 out of the last 5. 0 against the Clippers is kind of unfortunate to see, but then that push against Toronto, I think this game stays pretty close, and we know Devin Booker definitely has the volume, not the type of volume that Rozier or Curry has, but he definitely puts up almost double digit threes. So at 2, I really think he's got one of the better shots on just the players in here to get this over.
Yeah, I mean, talking volume too, Levine, tremendous volume. Some really bad games, but you want to look at his last 10. I mean, he's like 5 out of the last 10 on this prop. Because he had a really good stretch of games late in December, early on in January too. So he was been playing well, but he's struggling as of late. And then Curry was at 4 last night, goes up to 4.5 here now. I understand there's no Clay, but what do you think about Curry here at 4.5?
I have no interest in Curry. He's just been playing so awful as of late. 0 out of 5 in the last 5, not even making 3, especially against this Bulls team. I don't really think this game is going to stay that close if Chicago comes out red hot. We just saw how awful the second string for Golden State is, and with no Draymond, Clay most likely sitting here tonight. It's tough for me to go to Curry. I wouldn't recommend going the under. I just kind of recommend fading this altogether.
Yeah, I completely agree. You don't want to get burnt on a Curry under. I would definitely just fade that one. And then in fantasy score, man, who here do you like?
Yeah, there's a couple people I like here at Fantasy Score. I mean, we saw what Seth Curry was doing as of late. 4 out of the last 5 monster games against the Spurs, against Orlando. 40 point fantasy score games. I mean, it's just incredible. And you're kind of getting the nice discount after the bad game against Charlotte, where he only had 18.1 fantasy scores. So a ton of upside for Curry. I mean, we know how well he can shoot the ball. He's been really one of the bigger playmakers for this team, grabbing a couple boards and really racking up the assists. So I don't mind Seth Curry here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I like Wiggins too, man. At 29, he doesn't really do much other than score, but realistically, with no Clay, that's taken up Clay's like he eats up a lot of shots even in his 20 minutes. He puts up like 10 to 15 shots, so a little bit more shots for Wiggins. They struggled last night. I think Wiggins is gonna have a nice big one tonight. Whether they keep this game, close or if it gets out of hand, I still think Wiggins is going to get a decent amount of run. Should play 32 to 30, 35 minutes. I do think Wiggins looks pretty good tonight. And then at the bottom, man, these Kings guys, they're pretty much hovering around this line all the time. I mean, we went Fox under a couple times, and then we got burnt. And then so if we go Fox under, just pepper the Fox over because if we take him under, he just literally goes off. So I like how Reoz he said he liked Bane. I think Bane looks pretty good for 1 of the last 5 as well. He's definitely a guy that can rebound the ball, do a little bit more for you, can get some steals too. And then if his shot gets rolling, I mean, he's in a really good spot to get over 29.5.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, he could have 20, 25 points, just regular points with a couple steals and easily get over this line. And right next to him, Tim Hardaway Jr. We know how well of a 3-point shooter he is. I mean, if he can just get a couple more assists and rebounds and a couple plays on defense, I mean, 24.5 is pretty low for a team with no Porzingis. Really looking for somebody else to be another scorer with Luka.
Yeah, I agree. And we see Cam Reddish leave the Hawks. So now that might open up a lot more shots up for Bogdanovich here. He's at 25. Definitely a guy that can get going. Was a big piece for them in the playoffs last year. Be nice to see him get his shot rolling because he's been struggling so far this season. But I think that's pretty much it. Is there anyone else here you wanted to cover on the slate, or is that it for you?
No, that's it for me.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good one, man. 9 games. This is kind of my cup of tea. I like how there's a lot of games here, a lot more props to cover. So I think some of these games are going to be a lot tighter than they were last night. Hopefully, we don't have a lot of crappy games like we did last night. But let's hit after this slate. Let's get this cash up, and then we got wild card weekend for the NFL. So thank you guys, everyone that signed up for the Patreon so far, everyone that subscribed to the YouTube channel, 1,500 subs. Honestly, amazing. So thank you guys, and good luck tonight. Let's hit this. Peace.